Officially, welcome everybody. Nice to see you. It's a pleasure to be here to share.
Recording in progress.
It's a pleasure to be here to share in our understanding more clearly the workings of our bodies and our minds, which is an ongoing present given to us by this precious human birth that we have the opportunity to share in the Dharma together, the extreme privilege of having this very birth to be able to hear the teachings of the Dhamma and to do the best we can to acknowledge and recognize the challenges that we have in our lives and that they can be seen clearly and acknowledged, and that there's a path of freedom and awakening to lift our spirits and gladden our mind. I see Jonas, not long time no see. So thanks for joining. I think maybe I will mention some of the calendar events here at the start so we don't break up our sitting and our Dharma practice time, although we've got Jim doing Qigong in the middle as always. But I'll just mention that if you go to portlandinsight.org website, as all of you probably know how to do, but in case there are some new people here who don't, you can join the email listserv called Connections, and you can have weekly digests sent to your inbox. We have ongoing almost daily, except for I believe Tuesday and Saturday. Sometimes there are Saturday Qigong workshops from Jim, which you just did on Juneteenth. You just did yesterday. Auspicious occasion. And here we are on the 20th, right in between Juneteenth and summer is beginning. Hot summer is beginning, at least here in Portland. So we'll acknowledge it. We'll acknowledge the equinox and take this opportunity to really acknowledge nature, the nature of our bodies, the nature of awareness being easeful and natural. Jim, do you think I should say something any more important? I'm counting on you.
The only other long-term retreat is still scheduled in September, but Robert doesn't know yet whether it's going to be in Canada or online. But working for, he's hoping for an open border.
Hoping for live, and that's at Brighton, or that's at
about the third week of September.
It's at not Brighton Bush, but
No,
It's Hollyhock.
Hollyhock. Thank you. Thanks,
Already
Sherry.
full with a wait list.
Good.
it's already full.
Yes.
All right, very good.
Maybe he'll expand the amount of people coming if it is Zoom or hybrid. Oh, and in August, on the first Saturday of the month, I'm going to do a day long. So I hope at least 6 to 10 people sign up so that we don't have to cancel it. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but save your calendar for whichever that first Saturday in August is. So let's start the way we always start. Allowing sounds to arrive at the ear. Sensations arriving at all of the sense doors. But maybe I should ask if this level of my conversation and voice is workable for everybody. I've got my volume probably 3/4. Thank you, Mish. I've got my volume 3/4, and so if it's challenging for you, you might want to adjust your volume. But let me know. You can type it in the chat if there's a problem. And you'll also be happy to know that I changed computers, so hopefully the roaring sound of my fan in the background will not be heard.
You do sound clearer. Great.
Good. Maybe I should check to make sure, see which microphone I am actually using. Well, I'm using same as system, not my big fancy one, so I'm glad it works. And so having listened to my voice and know that it's sound coming to your ears, and you probably have sounds in your room, and settling into the body and letting the body begin to join together with the mind, let's allow the sound of the bowl to come to the ears. The age-old calling of the Dhamma. Centuries and centuries, gongs and bells have been ringing. We have the great container of the Sangha around us for so long. It's very reassuring. I'm going to share my messy note screen with you if you don't know these and want to. This is what Robert sings in the morning with his guitar. And here we have it in Pali and in English. So I'm going to chant the Pali. If you'd like to chant along, you can. I know you know the English by now. Paying homage to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, taking refuge. We won't do the precepts, we'll just do the homage and the refuges. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranam gacchami. Dhanang saranam gacchami. Sanghang saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi dhanang saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi dhanang saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranam gacchami. Paying homage to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, we go for refuge. Every day we go for refuge to something, whatever it is we're doing. We're surrounding ourselves in that energy. And over these times when we sit, whether it's formal practice or maybe the informal practice of walking, it brings confidence to know that for many, many generations, the enlightened ones who have brought the teachings, the many Buddhas before Gautama Buddha and Gautama Buddha himself 2,600 years ago, went through extreme effort, and after practicing in various traditions where he was, found that none of them were successful in really guiding one to complete freedom. And so we have the opportunity to appreciate the enlightened ones, the teachings passed down through oral and written transmission, and the appreciation of the Sangha, the monks, nuns, and lay people who verbally for several generations were then able to write it down, and the teachings have arrived to us. And it is so simple and so not easy. But we can surround ourselves with kindness and gratitude and the knowledge that we're sitting with each other. And we take that time to gather the mind and the body together. Taking perhaps a couple of long, deep breaths to arrive, if you haven't already. Noticing the sense doors, noticing sound far away or close up. Just letting it come to the ears. Mindfulness is present. Awareness is present. And as we settle into the body, we can notice where there may be tensions. And just take a moment of bringing ease to our sitting posture, our noble sitting posture, letting our skeleton, letting our bones hold us up, letting gravity settle us in our seats. Relaxing behind the eyes, that soft tissue. Bringing our kind attention to our temples. To our jaw. If possible, letting that sense of kind attention relax at our tongue, the root of our tongue. Soften the muscles around the jaw. Letting this gentle attention toward relaxing flow through the neck and shoulders. Letting the scapula be like a waterfall of releasing and softening down our backs, around our hearts and our diaphragm, releasing, settling, inhabiting this container of our bodies, this container of our breath, which is always with us and we can't control it. And so it's a very easy access place to pay attention to. Feeling our sits bones and gravity, and letting that relaxation flow on down through our legs and our feet. Feeling pressure, noticing the touch point of our feet on the floor or wherever they are. And letting sensation be known. Is there pressure? Is there warmth? Is there coolness? Is there density? This brings us into the moment. Each sensation can be noticed with mindfulness, and awareness can be there to help us see it clearly. And this quality and continuity of awareness that allows the mind to settle and become peaceful over time. We relax and learn how to pay attention, experiencing the whole body, grounding and rooted in the body. And the breath is one of the things that we can attend to in a loosely focused way. There's also a sense of what the whole body is feeling. Is it balanced, and is it as straight as we can be in comfort? So we can use the breath at the nostrils or the belly to notice sensations, perhaps warmth or cool, pressure, lightness, tingling. Is it jagged or smooth? By attending to the breath, we can develop some concentration, continuing to return over and over again as the mind wanders back to the breath as our object for mindfulness to attend to. We may notice at first that we experience feelings in the body that might be connected to the hindrances. There might be anxiety or worry. We can notice where we feel it. How does it make the body feel? When some kind of desire might arise, where do we feel that? Or there might be ill will or aversion in the body. the body and mind, where do we sense that? What does it feel like? The body's a very clear measure of our mental states. And as we become more and more attentive, we can realize that these different mental states and moods that we have are experienced in the body, and that we can relax around that. We can notice that when the body is tensing a certain way, when the abdomen gets tight, that might be anxiety, or that's fear, or that's worry. That's the feeling in the chest, or the movement towards reaching out towards something can sometimes create agitation in the body. And so we just tune in to understand, oh, there's that feeling in the body. It gives us a clue. If there's a particular fear or aversion, the mind is so quick and it goes right into a storyline. And so we use the body to come back as our anchor when we get lost in a storyline without judgment or shame. We come back to the container of the body. If it's really complicated, we can come back to the simplicity of attending to the breath, the rising, the falling, noticing that it's a long breath or a short breath. In the Anapanasati Sutta, the first 4 instructions are noticing if the breath is long on the inhale or short on the inhale, noticing if it's long on the exhale or short on the exhale, and knowing that it is. Being with it, that's being in the present moment, with whatever's being attended to, where mindfulness is, and that awareness is there with it, giving us some information. That brings in wisdom. Some investigation sometimes is a skillful activity for the mind. Is what we're noticing pleasant? Is it unpleasant? Or maybe we can't tell. Is it neutral? The breath is our anchor. The in-breath, maybe it's soothing or nurturing or warming or energizing. The out-breath, perhaps it's releasing, relaxing, expanding. We can tap into that feeling and allow the moods and impressions to dissipate, grounded in awareness in the present moment. Sometimes as we settle down, we may notice that we have to deal with physical pain and mental distress, and those are very real experiences. But we still have the breath, which is always neutral. It's a neutral base to return to. Can we relax around physical pain we're experiencing? Within that sphere of awareness and the neutral quality of the breath, we can be present with the pain. And if something needs to be done, we can do it. And if not, we can establish the attitude of not complicating the pain. And we try not to complicate it with the mental pain of, I don't like it, I don't want it to be here, it shouldn't be this way. We try not to spin out like that, and that's where a lot of pain really is. When we can notice that, sometimes the actual physical pain is much more bearable. So mindfulness of breathing and of the body are anchors for our practice, and also for the cultivating of loving kindness. The ability to be present with one in-breath and one out-breath is a tremendous kindness to ourselves. And the ability to be with the body, to be non-reactive and non-judgmental, that's an act of kindness in the present moment. And we do all this with a sense of ease, holding ourselves gently in kindness, being present in the body, noticing the breath. Mindfulness at the fore and awareness being present. And we have just enough energy to stay interested in what's happening in the mind right now, what's happening in the body right now. We have the intention of staying awake, alert, aware, and present in a relaxed manner. And we use the breath as the object or whatever might come to any of the sense doors to observe and be attentive. The observing mind is in the background and being aware. Moment by moment, arising and passing, arising and passing. Mindfulness and awareness is there. We can very quickly begin seeing the true nature of constant change in whatever we're attending to. We can perhaps see it when it arises. Notice that it lasts for a certain amount of time, and then it goes away. Often we notice when something ends. That's that moment that we awaken in the present moment, and then we begin again, noticing that ending of when we're aware of what has arisen and passed away. We can have that be a time of awareness. We're adding a pearl to our string of pearls of awakening in the present moment. Awareness is remembering. not forgetting what it is to be aware, simply knowing that we are aware. With ease, stilling the body and calming the mind. Happens naturally. And so we keep mindfulness continuous, vigilant, with just the right amount of energy, putting it into each moment of awareness. If we're lost in thought or confused, can't remember what we're really doing, that's okay. We come back around, we wake up to the present moment, And we begin again, being kind to ourselves, compassionate with ourselves, coming back to the present nature, present moment, because the nature of our mind is to be awake. Nothing really needs to be created. There aren't conditions. We just have awareness, and we reside in this, and we use mindfulness to keep us present of whatever's going on. Mindfulness has a neutrality to it. Awareness brings the view clearer. We just keep mindfulness continuous. Staying relaxed, yet aware. Skillful effort, not a lot of effort, but it's just about being steady and keep going. At first it takes some effort, but we persevere. We forget what we're doing, we remember, we forget, we remember. But we build up momentum. And a kind of flow can come in. The intention of continuity. And the reminder of holding ourselves kindly and gently in the process. If things are challenging in the practice, we can remind ourselves, we can wish ourselves, hold within our container of the breath, the body, to have peace and ease. With a few words or phrases that work for you, or you might be used to saying, or perhaps it's just the feeling of metta within our hearts and minds, we can bathe ourselves in this kindness, the intention inclining the mind to hold ourselves gently and kindly. May I be free from harm, inner and outer harm. May my mind be relaxed, peaceful and tranquil. May I have ease in my life. And when things are challenging, may I hold myself with compassion. Be with the challenge that might be arising. Hold myself gently. It too is impermanent. Can't hang on to it. It doesn't really belong to me. This dukkha, these challengings, dukkha, anatta, anicca, these challenges arise. They go through changes. I can't grasp them. They don't really belong to me, but I hold it all gently while I attend to it as best I can. May this kindness, this metta and karuna, kindness and compassion, may we expand it within ourselves to include a friend, letting the intention of metta from our heart, mind, body flow to a friend. That they may find happiness in the causes of happiness and be free from suffering. May we abide in this divine, immeasurable, limitless emotion of kindness, and compassion, letting it flow to a teacher, a benefactor. It could be an animal, a small child, a teacher that first brought us to the Dhamma. Expanding this kindness in this cauldron of our body and mind, rooted in our position in our seat, letting it include our teacher in kindness. A helpful way of understanding loving kindness can also be that we are not dwelling in aversion. And we have the intention, inclination of the mind to let this feeling of well-being arise. To include others, family members, neighbors, allowing it to include neutral people, people we don't really have a connection to, we don't have an opinion about, but we know just as I wish to be happy, you also wish to be happy. This could be a single person. It could be a group of people, those suffering oppression, those suffering from illnesses, those who are attending those who are ill. Not that it's easy to think these sublime thoughts of love for all beings everywhere, but it's easier to begin with. We encourage ourselves along the way to be free from aversion. It's this loving kindness, encouraging ourselves. It's skillful. And we include this kindness to other beings, neutral beings. May they be free from harm, have ease and well-being, find compassion. And as we consider this, we bring in a little equanimity so that we don't fall into extremes of pity or indifference. We find the balance. And if we can extend this to different directions of the north and the east, the south and the west, above and below, the earth and the waters, to beings that fly and walk and crawl. May all beings everywhere know happiness and the causes of happiness and be free from suffering. And bringing all of this kindness, compassion back around to ourselves. Classically, the way the instructions were set up from the time of the earliest commentaries on the Buddhist teachings, when loving kindness was structured and systemized, it was to direct loving kindness toward yourself. We establish kindness toward ourselves before going on to generate loving kindness for somebody else. Sometimes that's hard, and we find it easier to include the close friend and the benefactor. But we're filling our own cup with this kindness. It's circular. And so we have this kindness that we've shared with others, and we can cultivate and bring it back into these thoughts of loving kindness for ourselves. And so both for ourselves and for all beings, may all beings be happy. May all beings have the causes of happiness and understand their true nature. Anicca vata sankhara upadewa yadomino upakitawa meruchanti te sam vipassamo sukho. All conditioned things are subject to impermanence. They arise and pass away, and we see this clearly through mindfulness, and that brings us the greatest happiness, which is peace. Letting the bell come to the ears, the sounds of, we may notice pleasant, unpleasant. We may notice what's happening in the body and the mind as we start to shift our posture and gently open our eyes and let the light come to the eyes. Taking a moment to let this kindness flow to each other in our circle. beginning to wiggle around and know that in a few short moments we get to be with Jim and have him lead us in some Qigong movements. For those of you that are watching on Facebook, I believe that it is not shared on Facebook, right, Jim? Oh, wait, I don't have my speaker turned back on. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Try again. Let me see if I can hear you now.
No, I did not set it up on Facebook. It's
All right.
just,
So I'm going to tell the people on Facebook here that if you come back, why don't you take this time to do some walking practice, do your own stretching practice, and what do you like, Jim? 20 minutes or so? What's your timing?
15.
Okay, so come back in 15 minutes if there's anybody there on Facebook watching.